industry, but that doesn't mean that it has not taken shape. It has taken shape. But basically, ESG is a way of doing business. And regardless of wherever industry you are, it's a very important tool. It's a tool that guides and gives frameworks or ways of monitoring how sustainable these businesses are. Whether it's a small enterprise or a large enterprise. So currently we are speaking about sustainability. We are speaking about growth, but in the dimensions of sustainability. We are speaking about development, but in the framework of sustainability. Right now, we are speaking of responsible businesses. And ESG is just something that gives a framework to define that sustainability. So it goes into how you're doing business in the context of environment, how you're doing business in the context of society or social, and how you're doing business in the context of governance. So it looks at three things: the planet, the people, and of course, the profit. So as we look at the organizations that we are running, the organizations that we are in, the organizations that we are inspiring to go to, one thing that we need to understand is businesses are not here to just make money. Businesses have three objectives. The objective to make money, which is the profit, but also the responsibility to take care of the environment and the responsibility to take care of the society or the community. So in anything that we do, those three dimensions are important. And that's why today we are hearing ESG, we are hearing sustainability, we are hearing something else called GLI. So all this culminate into one thing: how we are running the businesses. Is it a sustainable manner? And to just summarize, sustainability just gives us a responsibility to ensure that we are not depleting our today's resources. The resources we have today, we understand that they are scarce, but we have a responsibility to make sure that the generation that is coming tomorrow, they will find resources. So it is an appreciation of tomorrow, the future, and we have to take care of the future today. So any solutions we are giving today, any growth dimensions we are giving today, any problem solvings we are giving today, we have to be cognizant of the fact that the future is coming. And therefore, we have to be responsible enough to ensure that as the future comes, we are not depleting the resources we have for tomorrow. In so many dimensions, it can be talents, it can be our own planet. That means our biodiversity, our soil, our environment, how we are taking care of our wastes. It can be our value chains. So there is nothing that doesn't have a sustainability angle into it. It can be our finances, our resources, whatever you look at as a resource today. We have to be responsible for that resource to be found tomorrow for the generation that is coming. So as an introduction, that's it. ESG simply is an acronym for environment, social, and governance. But it is a framework that allows businesses to run sustainably. Jay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Engineer, for that explanation. And I think my audience tonight are able now to tell what ESG is. Now, how should someone who doesn't know about ESG, or now who has learned about ESG today, position themselves in terms of the skill set for their future?
So it is important to understand something, that there are so many frameworks that we are going to experience being implemented. For example, currently the ISPAC has um, pushed for mandatory implementation of IFRS 1 and IFRS 2, which are also dimensions of ESG. All these frameworks might be borrowed from international standards. And what emerging markets like Kenya do is to customize these frameworks for our own contexts. Having that in mind, we have to be then that guides us how we approach ESG in our different contexts. So first of all, it is the acknowledgement of the fact that these frameworks require a lot of customization. So if you're in for example, in a hospitality industry or in banking sector, the way you would measure or monitor ESG is not the same way a manufacturing industry would, because our wastes are not the same. Our impacts on the environment are not the same. Our stakeholders are not the same. Our supply value chains are not the same. Probably what is the same would be the energy consumptions, the scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 dimensions. But customization is important. So industry understanding is important. So there is a lot that has been done, and there people can read in terms of when you come to the banks, when you go to manufacturing, when you go to hospitality, when you go to procurement, when you go to any sector, what are the actual dimensions of ESG? What does the bank define environment as? So banks, they look at when they are lending these loans, what is the impact of the pass of this loan to the environment? When I lend you this loan, what are you going to do with it as a farmer? Whatever you're going to do with it, do you have implementation of sustainability measures in whatever you're doing? So there is a lot of contextualizing, considering the industry or the sector that you're approaching this with. Having said that, we need to prepare ourselves so that when we appear prepared and with context. So one thing I've said is we need to be cognizant of the fact that the industry has shifted, and the adoption of ESG frameworks has already shifted and has already transitioned. Therefore, every industry has established a framework around ESG. Do we know them? And how much information have we gathered around these concepts? So, for example, if you want to come into a manufacturing industry, then you need to understand the fact, the waste management and the regulatories that are governing these things. So, for example, we have KEPRO, we have NEMA, we have the new ERP regulatory, and therefore every industry is complying. We have new environmental taxes that have come along. So the regulatory is pushing. So you will not be in isolation as an industry. So part of the stakeholder mapping that you need to be cognizant with in that industry is the regulatory and what the regulatory is saying in compliance. I have said if you go to finance, then ISPAC, you should be cognizant of what ISPAC is saying, because now your financial reporting has to transition, because now it is mandatory. If you come to, and that applies to everybody, even in media. Right now, our financial reporting has to change, because at the end of the day, from 2027, auditing has changed. If you go to manufacturing, apart from the financial reporting compliance that we have to do, then now we have to comply with the regulatory in terms of environmental, ERP, the extended producer responsibility, the eco tax, the NEMA, the KEPRO, So understanding the context is very important. and building the skills so that when you come to these organizations, you're not coming to learn, you're coming from a knowledge perspective. So there are so many people who are right now training. Kepro is offering a lot of Kepro is KEPRO, is offering a lot of trainings around this. ISPAC is offering a lot of trainings around these concepts. KAM, Kenya Association of Manufacturers, is offering a lot of training around these concepts. Are you found in the spaces where these trainings are happening? Because I have said the industry ecosystem has changed. It has shifted. And just the other day, we were only complying with the GLI framework. We have now been tasked to go beyond GLI framework to comply with IFRS 1 and IFRS 2 reporting systems. So when you see the industry moving, then you have to also understand the speed at which you need to gather knowledge and information around these concepts. So the challenge to us is whether we are found in the spaces around these things. And when we find ourselves in such spaces, we need to understand two things. The industry is not pursuing these things for compliance only. The industry is pursuing these things also for change of behavior. So when you come as a HR person and you are looking at the aspects of ESG, then you have to understand people, the sustainability around people. How are you managing the talent pipeline? How are you managing recruitments versus building talents within the organization? Are you managing talents as as a cost, or are they a resource that need investment? You know, how are you managing recruitment nowadays? Are you customizing? For example, I would give one illustration of a person who wants to recruit a team, and the first thing they think about is, let me create them a case study for them to go through this case study, and then they can do a presentation. There is another dimension of this person calling, dedicating the leadership to create a time with this team, share the vision, share the strategy of the organization, and allow this person to go and bring you the growth strategy from their angle or solutions from what you have shared. For example, if I tell you that my strategy is to be in 30 nations by 2030, and you're coming in as a HR person, and I let you go and come back with measures or whatever to ensure that the talent transition or talent building along this dynamic of growth is achievable. You know, there's a difference between me giving you a case study and me sharing the vision and strategy of the business. The dimensions of sustainability are changing and changing very fast. The question is whether we know and whether we are in spaces where these discussions are happening, so that as this change happens, we are also acquiring information and knowledge that fast. Right now, we are not talking about disposing waste. We are talking about giving waste value and repurposing it. So the industry has gone beyond disposing costs into creating value from waste. So when you come into these organizations and you're coming from a manufacturing perspective and you come and discuss and you're not able to articulate adding value to waste, then you will be short of skills. If you come today, we are talking of net zero supply chains. That means I'm not only looking at my suppliers in a transactional manner. So if you're in procurement, we have gone beyond transactional to building sustainable value chains, such that I'm involved or I'm conscious of my suppliers. Sustainability beyond just me buying and our normal transaction. Let me buy and I pay, you get material and I pay. No. What about the carbon emissions from where that raw material is coming from? Therefore, we are conscious on localization, buying from locality, from the nearest place that you can get that raw material from. But have you developed suppliers within your locality? Have you developed suppliers within your ecosystem, within your region? You know, and whatever processes they are doing to produce, are they using renewable energy? Are they recycling water? The waste they are generating, are they recycling that waste? Are they repurposing that waste? A net zero supply chain. So we need to build skills beyond compliance. We need to build skills that are bringing behavioral change in whatever dimension that we're implementing this sustainability call. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Now, many job seekers will only think that ESG is relevant to environmental professionals, and that is what most of us really think. Which other careers? Think you've been able to answer this, but I would like maybe you to again expound on this. Which other career fields are being transformed by ESG, and what opportunities are emerging?
Yeah, and I get that notion. I get that thinking, school of thinking. People are thinking that right now organizations are really hiring environmental sustainability, da da da. And these people are coming to the organizations thinking that this is a one-man show. I've been hired as an environmental um manager, and therefore I will deliver on this reporting, and I will deliver on this framework. I will deliver on monitoring, on measurements. But you come and realize it's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. Actually, everyone is, there is no department that has no sustainability dimension. I've talked about HR, the talent management. You have to demonstrate sustainability around that. I've spoken about finance. I've spoken about procurement. I've spoken about logistics. I've spoken about production if you're in a manufacturing industry. I've spoken about banks. I've spoken about media. There is no industry and there is no career uh, path that has no sustainability aspect in it. And we need to understand how technical this sustainability is in our own career paths. It is not an environmental or a sustainability manager, no. It is the measures and the instruments that we have put in place in our structures. The way we are structuring our policies, the way we are drafting our policies, the way we are drafting our ways of doing things, our procedures. There is no career today that has no dimension of sustainability. I have said it's all about resources that are going to be found in tomorrow. So if today our working culture is only promoting or driving so high turnovers, then your structures are not sustainable. Right now, we are talking about structures that are retaining and growing talents. And the measures to that are so strict such that you have to demonstrate how you are developing talents and how you are retaining them. Right now, if you look at IFRS S1 reporting, there's an aspect of, right now, you have to report, you have to declare the gap between the highest paid person in the organization and the lowest paid person in your organization. You have to declare that gap. And there is a limit. So even fair compensation is now a sustainability angle. I've spoken about supply chain. I've spoken about logistics. Today, the vehicles that we are using in distributing our products and everything. Right now, we are talking of e-mobility, but even when you look at e-mobility, you have to look at the source of that electricity, because scope 2, it's the purchased emissions, which is electricity. So you're not just bringing a solution of e-mobility, but you're telling the organization, as you adapt e-mobility, bring in renewable energy. You have to install solar energy, So it's a call beyond compliancy. And it's an understanding that it is a collaboration of the whole ecosystem. I've said you will not avoid the regulatory bodies. You will not avoid ISPAC right now. You will not avoid KEPRO. You will not avoid NEMA. You will not avoid these bodies because now the regulatory has transitioned and has complied. When you look at the environmental tax today, any organization is looking at what do we do because this tax, you will not transfer this cost to the consumer because the consumer doesn't have the disposable income. So what are we going to do to save costs? So complying or having initiatives around recycling and repurposing of waste is what is is what the businesses are geared to, so that by the time the government comes to give us incentives, we have already done something. So it's a call beyond compliancy, and it's an understanding that it is not specific to one career. It is not an environmental person who is coming to do this sustainability thing. It is no. You as finance person, you as HR, you as procurement, you as logistics person, you as marketing, you as sales, you have to bring on board sustainability structures along what you are doing.
Thank you so much for that. Now, what are some of the practical ways young professionals and recent graduates can gain ESG experience without necessarily being employed in an ESG specific position?
I say it again, sorry.
What are some of the practical ways young professionals can gain ESG experience without necessarily being employed in ESG specific positions?
So we have I've cited KEPRO, who are doing a lot around ESG training, but also a lot of projects with different business organizations. They are in banks, they are in hospitals, they are in hospitality, they are in manufacturing. So you have opportunities there to volunteer and build frameworks. I've said this is still a new concept in the industry. And the industry is moving with speed to transition. Therefore, there is a lot of designing going on. There's a lot of customization going on. The best place to learn is when you volunteer in places where these things are still in development. They're still in that establishment level, not yet mature, of which all organizations right now, we are still not yet at maturity. So volunteer in such places, in such opportunities, so that as you develop, you learn. As you develop, you learn. Seek out opportunities like that to volunteer. Any organization today, whether you are in emergency response, whether you are in media, people are working on frameworks to comply. And especially right now that we have the hit on IFRS. So if you have an opportunity to volunteer, volunteer. Come up with these frameworks and share. Share with organizations that probably have not yet are in line with the implementing. And I would also insist, attend these trainings, because it is when you attend these trainings, you learn the gaps. You learn where people are having gaps. You learn the organizations that are still looking for people and appear there with context and with information. Don't appear and then you understand, like my organization, we are having this gap, and then you go to offer a solution and then you find yourself, you have no information. The other day I was in a forum having this conversation on ESG, and most of the audience were people who are already in this environmental implementation. I'm the environment lead. I'm the ESG lead. I'm the sustainability lead. You know, but when you listen to what people are going through, people are appearing into trainings, but they are not able to go implement where in their organizations. So people are not having information and people are not able to customize. And it is because people came into this concept thinking that it's all about environment. No, there's a lot of structuring. As I've said, the dimensions of sustainability in HR, if you don't have that critical thinking around it, you will not deliver. So as you come into these spaces, come ready to offer a critical thinking around it. Come ready to challenge. Come ready to offer dimensions of sustainability. So you can dissect sustainability within your context and customize. I've said today, the organizations that are prioritizing turnovers, because we have so many talents out there to hire, there is a huge challenge right now today. It's all about retaining because of the tacit knowledge and growing those talents. So the dimensions or the traditions of our ways of doing things are changing into the dimensions of sustainability. And that contextualization can only be achieved by ourselves in our own capacities. So there is no one, it's called what? There is no one for everything. There is no one way for everything. We have to contextualize and we have to understand the industries, the ecosystems that our industries are operating in so that we are effective. There is no one shoe fit for all.
Asante sana kwa hiyo explanation, very elaborate. If you are to give every job seeker in this room one practical action to take within the next 30 days to position themselves for ESG related opportunities, what will it be?
I would say get an ESG certification. And I've said KEPRO is offering ESG certification. But I want us to get that certification with the understanding that that certification is not enough. We have to come sit down and work. We have to come sit down and dissect and customize so that we are effective. So you can go for ESG certifications. You can go for Global Compact Network certifications. Global Compact Network offers a lot of certifications around sustainability beyond ESG. We also have UNEP with free courses, with so many courses around sustainability beyond, in addition to ESG. So you can check out those ones. But those certificates are important. Understand the environment you're operating in, the regulatory aspects. If you come to manufacturing, ERP, the extended producer responsibility, the eco taxes, understand the regulatory aspects around the industry you're operating in so that you are effective. If you are in finance, regardless of where you are, and you are an accountant, you are finance, you are in that space, then you will not avoid ISPAC. Yeah? But always remember, there is more needed than certificates. We have so many with certificates, but are not able to deliver. Simply because when we come now to hit the road, when the rubber hits the road now, and we need to customize solutions or structures for a certain industry, then we are not able to. And we need to ask ourselves, at the end of the day, it is not about compliance. It's about sustainable behavioral change. Implementation of that sustainable behavioral change in our systems, in our processes is what is truly sustainability.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. Now, I can see there's a question on the chat section. Maybe we can handle that even as I prepare more questions. What someone had asked about what is GRI?
I meant is it GRI? GLI. Maybe it came out as GRI.
Mhm.
GLI, it's also a sustainability framework. It stands for Global Leadership Initiative. Yeah, but you can check out. It's also a framework within sustainability.
Thank you. Now, even as Kenya and the global market continues to invest in areas such as renewable energy, climate smart agriculture, sustainable finance, green manufacturing, and responsible business. Which sectors do you see creating the greatest ESG related employment opportunities locally?
Um, it is it is uh, it is any industry that is developing waste. And I would say manufacturing because they are the biggest in waste generation. And it is because the bulk of it is planet, how we are taking care of the planet. So, and planet is big. But let us not forget that people is also there. So HR and planet, people and planet. So
But
someone is asking something?
no, no, proceed.
Okay. Okay. So if you look at today, a lot of waste on our landfills, and especially it's because the focus has now gone into plastics, so much into plastics. And the government has introduced a lot of taxes to plastics. Yeah, of course, it might be a resource. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, Global Reporting Initiative. Yes. So, and it's because a lot of packaging is in plastics, and a lot of harm to the planet is from plastics. And it's because we still don't have development into biodegradable plastics that are not leaving microplastics behind. Having said that, it means we have a lot of initiatives on plastics recycling and repurposing and reducing and reusing. So today, we are talking about recycling in the aspects of organizations coming up with take-back schemes. And this has touched so many, not only manufacturing, but also the retail, the supermarkets. The other day you saw, was it the ERP being pushed now to supermarkets, for supermarkets to push the manufacturers of these products to comply. So that when we are bringing products to the supermarket, we minimize as much as possible the secondary packaging. So that now plastics are minimized in the packaging, and supermarkets don't have a lot of disposal of plastics. Today, every organization have to comply to to such take-back schemes, and it's because of the extended producer responsibility requirement. So it's not only manufacturers who are complying. If you look at Majid, who is not a manufacturer, but he is big in distribution, that has affected him. If you look at DHL, who is not a manufacturer, but a company in logistics, that has really affected them. If you look at any organization that does forwarding and clearance of goods that are coming in this nation. You know, so it is just a matter of looking at where you can fit in and contribute. The opportunities are all over. Compliance is all over. And remember, we have gone beyond CSR thing. It's we have gone beyond CSR because it has come to a level of auditable. It is now being audited. So it is a matter of making sure that right now we are not greenwashing. So matters of I don't know whether you have had new terminology called token maxing. Token maxing is the new term for how organizations are pretending to be in AI, uh, the AI platforms, such that if I'm in so much in in the AI platforms, it means I'm productive, I'm learning. But as a matter of fact, people are not learning. People are enjoying whatever AI is giving, and people are not productive. Token maxing is now the new terminology for greenwashing because people have realized that people have run so fast to share sustainability reports. They have gone very fast to bring the concepts of recycling into the packaging. And people have gone very fast into declaring their initiatives around sustainability. But when you go to the matrix and targets and the baselines, people are not really monitoring these things. So people are really greenwashing. And to protect the consumer, now the framework is auditable. That means there must be metrics of monitoring, there have to be governance into it, there has to be strategy into it, that holistic framework. So we are going beyond compliance. We are going beyond now people just having reports. We're just going beyond people now doing PR and CSR. Like an organization can say, I've gone to this community and I've helped them with what? Water tanks. So what? You know? So what? So what? So the question of so what is in the room today. So it's no longer, yeah, let me just conclude by saying it's no longer greenwashing. The question of so what now is on the table.
Thank you so much, engineer, for that. Now, still on that question, Evans has asked, what are the emerging areas of ESG present opportunities that professionals with disabilities can focus on?
I'm trying to think why professionals with disabilities. Because it's not, probably someone else can help me answer this, but from my end, it is not whether you are differently abled or not. No. Anybody should be able to look at ESG from the holistic angle and be able to customize a solution for any industry. If somebody is enabled differently and they are in HR, I don't think it matters whether, HR structures are HR structures. And if I need to bring the sustainability dimensions into them, I have to, If I'm in procurement, I have to. So it's not about persons. For me, it's about these different paths that we are in. Are we in finance? Are we in anywhere we are? We have to bring in the sustainability angle into it.
Thank you, engineer, for that.
Thank
And
you.
I believe it cuts across because opportunities like climate finance are opportunities that are open to everyone. and
And
organizations are,
in
yeah,
addition to that, Jay, is you see right now we have a lot of funding going around these concepts, you know.
yeah.
So even resource mobilization, even when you are going, do you know when you are pursuing for investors to invest in anything, like for example, you are an entrepreneur and you're looking for investors to invest in your business. They are looking for sustainability, how sustainable you are, what sustainability frameworks are you implementing, or what angles of sustainability are you implementing in your in your idea, you know. So whether you are pursuing an investor or whether you are pursuing to partner with people or whether you are pursuing for resource mobilization, sustainability now is key.
Yes. Thank you. I can say we are moving on well. Um, I have two questions left. Anyone with a question, you can as well type in the chat section. So, as multinational companies increasingly embed ESG requirements into their operations and global supply chains, how can Kenyan professionals position themselves to compete for ESG-related opportunities with international companies and organizations?
So probably I've answered that questions among the conversation I've had.
Yeah.
I've said most of these frameworks are international borrowed frameworks that we are having to now customize for our emerging markets, because for us these are emerging. If you look at EU, those are established mature markets in terms of these frameworks. So be well versant with these frameworks. Understand what global investors are looking for, and therefore align. And I've said an organization like Global Compact Network, they have now a localized satellite here in Kenya, of which that's a global body that has come into this market, set up, established, so that they help the organizations in this market comply and have effectiveness or achieve the sustainability angle. And they have brought all those SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So as a person in an organization, do you know which SDG can help you or you can lean on? For example, if you are in manufacturing like us, SDG around responsible production and consumption is important. Partnership for goals is important. Climate action is important. So when I'm looking at these SDGs, I'm not looking at all of them, and there are so many. When you're in HR, there are so many SDGs that today they are a must for you to implement and adapt. But do we know them? And when we are adapting, when we are adapting that SDG, are we adapting so that we comply, or are we adapting to greenwash, or are we adapting to truly bring a change? Because those are three different implications. So if you look at Global Compact, they are hammering SDGs implementations, and any organization can run with them. So when you are going to partner with such a person, you are going to partner with them because you need to implement these SDGs in one way or the other. So I've said these are borrowed frameworks from established mature markets that us, who we are termed as emerging markets, we are now complying. And you will see the impact of these emerging markets complying in the upcoming UNGA summit. Because now, as Africa pushes to be sustainable, we are also realizing that, oh, kumbe these people were just depleting our resources. And we need to protect our resources so that they are found in there tomorrow. So Africa is coming up with so many measures of making sure that our resources are found in tomorrow. The first project in Africa of repurposing plastics into an eco fuel better than petrol and diesel has been incubated and started here in Kenya, in Thika, through a simple chemistry reaction. So these initiatives are capturing global eye, and we need to understand that we have gone beyond when we were copy-pasting from global. Now the global environment is learning from us, and they're coming running because of the initiatives that we are putting on board, and especially Kenya. If you go to Ghana, you'll be shocked by the amount of plastics in that country. You go to supermarket and they can simply give you a plastic for every item you have purchased in a supermarket. 1 liter of oil, you can be given a plastic to put 1 liter of oil, 1 pack of unga, because they have they have not established sustainability or environmental consciousness like Kenya has. So when you're looking for opportunities, especially in these countries that they have not yet established these environmental measures like Kenya has, look at the frameworks of our nation as an opportunity for you to run with them in these countries. So let us not look at Kenya or the ecosystem or the environment we are as lesser, and we can only learn from global. Let us understand it has shifted. Now they are learning from us. And it is because of probably an opportunity we have with our regulatory of them hammering or taking care of the environment. So if I was to be asked for opportunities today, I would study the frameworks of these things in Kenya and run with these solutions to these countries. Go to Ghana, go to Congo, you'll be shocked. If you look at Rwanda today, you cannot import anything in Rwanda in plastics. So somehow Rwanda is advanced than Kenya. So, and there are so many opportunities in Rwanda. So within our own Africa, if I may push Pan-African spirit, within our own African context, we have a lot of opportunities. We have 2 nations that are running quick. Tanzania is coming very quick. So all these other nations that need to catch up, who is going to drive it? It is us. It is us. So let us go for those opportunities. Go ahead, Jay.
Thank you so much for that, engineer. Um, we are coming to a close, and I can see one question here. Maybe just go through it. For me, as a person of with disability, I feel that any other person with disability can do any career based on individual preference. We are capable, and we are like any other person. Thank you so
Yes, yes,
much,
that is true.
Garlin, for that clarification. I think that is very true. That is very true. I've come to the end of the questions that I had for you, engineer, and
Okay.
I'm looking at the chat section. We have no
Okay.
questions.
Okay, let me just add something to just summarize. Today, you look at and I will give this project that is being done by Strathmore. Strathmore are coming up with a complex, a STEM complex building. And this building is a green building. So if you look at what green building is, then you will understand the gap in Kenya of us achieving green buildings, because you need a LEED certification, which is a US certification. And the requirements of that LEED for you to have that building certified green. The standardization of the materials you're using, we don't have that. So who is going to go to KEBS, of which now KEBS has started to now bring together stakeholders so that they come up with this standardization so that people can now, and that is construction. Today, when we want to build a factory today, we have to build a factory in the dimensions of a green building, in aspects of how we are going to monitor water recycling, how we are going to monitor energy efficiencies. And when you look at energy efficiencies, then you will not avoid IoT, Internet of Things, because of the sensors that you need to bring on board. When you're looking at production efficiency, the machines, you will not avoid IoT for you to achieve energy efficiencies. So it is unlimited. Right now, we are discussing about solar panels. Solar panels that are capable to be able to drive solar energy, but to be able to capture light photons from clouds so that you don't need a lot of sunlight. Even when it is cloudy, you'll still be able to generate electricity. That is nanotechnology. So regardless of where you are, whether you are in IT, technology, you'll not avoid sustainability. And that's why I talked about token maxing. Whether you are in technology, in development of sensors, we are talking of energy efficiencies, we are talking of water efficiency, water management, If you are in anything, materials development, now we are talking of nanotechnology, which has massive applications. When we are talking about HR, it is endless. It is endless. So sustainability, you have to look at it from an endless point of view with endless opportunities surrounding us. Thank you, Jay. It's a very passionate topic. I can talk about it and talk about it and talk about it.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it even from the details that you're providing. You are so passionate about this. And I know you are a scholar, you are someone that really has done enough research about ESG. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for even agreeing to talk to us about ESG and positioning ourselves for the job market. Tonight, I would want our audience to appreciate engineer from our reactions on our screens. So yes, yes, yes. And then we'll want someone to pray for us as we close. Thank you, engineer, and we look forward to another session on the same because I know it's a topic that is very wide, and we want people to really understand this, and even as they position themselves for the job market. Any volunteer that to pray for
Thank
us?
you. Thank you also for having me, and thank you for having such an interactive session. Let me know if anyone would want some mentorship or some hand holding. We have a whole network helping young people to be effective around this topic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll anyone that needs this can inbox me, then I'll be able to share your details with the engineer. Thank you, Edgar. Edgar, you had your hand up to pray for us, Edgar.
Yes, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.